Hello, everyone. Um, hello. Right, trying to think about New Day. Well, we found. Let me know if you can hear me. If not, I will go on to be safe again. I see that we have two Lorraine joining us, which is great. I don't know if everybody's doing well. Lorraine saying, looking for his name, this fish, just a minute, she finished all the little. You hear me okay? Um, just trying to the. I was just gonna go. I'm with the mic, the how you call them these things, but so sure it sounds to be okay with that. But we'll see. Uh, cannot see anybody saying anything about the sound, so I work. I'm picking up. Okay, so I'll take the sound off and see. Not good. Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Is it better now? Is it better now by taking them out? If you could let me know, that would be great. Because I didn't put the, if not up another one. You can let me know if it works. It's just, it's all going on, isn't it? You sound really bad. Is it very bad? Some good. Let's try. Let me try now. Can you hear me better now? Hopefully they'll see it. This is the thing. There's always something I learn, something I fix, and then something else that works better. Not good. Still not good. I do not know what to do. The sound isn't right. Okay. Okay, so I might unplug this because it might be this that is causing it. So let's see now. Is it better now? You can hear me better. Yeah, better. Okay, brilliant. So just change where the source of the sound was coming in. So that's perfect. Fantastic. It might have been that the thing that it was attaching, or it might have been kind of some ruffling in there. So it should be working. Usually I use a microphone, but there's a lot of sound out there, and I wanted to try whether if I just use something else to kind of. But anyway, we know it doesn't work. Apologies for that. Thank you so much for joining us, Beverly, Jane, Shannon. I can see Gaz as well. It's so nice to see you, and thank you so much for the emails yesterday as well to Hobbycraft TV. And as well, Kaya said, thank you so much. If you, yeah, thank goodness. If there's any issues, I can see the messages there, and I will try to do that. Every time I try to make a little, improvements, and sometimes by making a mini improvement, you lose something. I moved it a little bit like this because I kind of like this wall. This is my favorite wall in my studio. In terms of looking, I love this, how it looks, and it's very useful. So I try to I want to look it good, the studio, but I also want it to be practical. And I don't know about you, but I would like my crafty space. I look at some USA Americans gorgeous rooms, and I'm like, oh my god, I love that, but I don't know if I would be creative there. But then again, my studio kind of seems to be adding stuff, and I'm not having time to really plan it, which I think my crafty storage is my second hobby. Oh, Kathy, let's send a hug to Kathy, who is day sick with cold. Massive hugs. I hope you are getting better. You get better very soon. Hello, Beck as well, and Rebecca, design team member. I can see that. Of course, Lorraine Sanders was there as well. I think Mary was there as was going to join us today as well. So hello to everybody and thank you. Now, this hour it's a little bit, I don't know about you, but I like the Facebook lives that are a bit more, well, in reference to the ink school, and they are hopefully interactive. So if you have got any questions about inks, this is the kind of the place to ask them. And I'm very, very well, I was trained very long time ago when I was studying Spanish language and literature as a second language. Well, not literature, just Spanish. They said always say, if you don't know something, say, I'm not sure about that right now. Let me double check and I'll get back to you. So if you ask something that I don't know, I'm not gonna blind the answer. I'm gonna try to either test it here or find it out and let you know. So if you have got any questions, please do ask. And with that said as well, Lorraine, she not the design team member, the other Lorraine at the beginning, she has been just finishing labeling all her ink pads, and you can see in the bag, all this drawer has been done with the sleeve die set from Paula Creates, as well as the thrifty boxes. Those ones are old boxes too. They have got lots of different die cuts, and then on the back I have got bigger IKEA boxes that have got other stuff, but they are very easy to take out because they are all easily taken out in sets of six. So doesn't take me long at all to get them. So if you wanted to have a look. Laura is saying the same thing. All the ink pads are labeled and stored. Next up, we'll attend the color wheel. That's a brilliant way. Now, I know some of you came to the retreat, and I always wanted to mention, and we used the die set. We didn't use the stencil because part of the reason was like, well, I want to always make sure that any product that I'm involved with is designed so you can use them on their own, but also with other things. So that was one of the parts that I wanted to make sure that everybody felt that. Also, what I wanted to mention is that with the stencils, you can do it in many different ways, and I might do it one of the demos that I did yesterday, but I think it got a little bit rushed, so I might do a revisit, which is, of course, you are getting 8 different stencils and 2 masks. So if you, I think it's no, actually you are getting 6 stencils and 2 masks, right? Yeah, that's it. So the way that you can do it is step by step, or just use one single one of them. There's lots of different ways about it. And remember, I'm going to put the QR code now for the Ink School section, because that's one of those things that we are, or I'm trying to upload and upgrade as much as I can throughout the weeks. Now I know how to upload files myself, so I don't have, whenever I do a quick one, I will upload them there. So it's a section that definitely, hopefully, is going to grow. I say hopefully because, life gets very busy sometimes. Like, we are so busy doing product development and things like that, or product design and this and that, so that sometimes things get a little bit sidetracked. And I feel that, we have worked so hard at Lisa Horton Crafts, like the last few months, that sometimes it just hasn't, like, there are certain things that I wish I had done slightly different because I didn't have time to do it. So, for instance, last Sunday, the day before yesterday, I spent it like trying to, prep some things and things like that. And I wasn't working, but, working in a way. And then I was just thinking, and then I have got this idea and this idea and this idea, and it's just like, no, Paula, you cannot do it all. Right, saying that, shall we go start doing some interference? And you know what, I'm going to start with the color wheel and do the interference things that I said, because it's a good starting point. Now I'm going to put the overhead. Now again, this should be better than it used to be. So, but sometimes this camera is kind of a smart camera, so it might be that movement that you have seen. It's not controlled by me. It's controlled literally by the computer. So if it's like, oh, it's a little bit too much or too little, well, it's not me. That isn't that clever. Isn't that clever? That's nothing to do with me. It's just the iPhone on the Mac is just doing that sort of thing. Right. So what I thought we would do is start with the color wheel with the interference, and that kind of helps us start talking about the inks, the colors, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to bring in the sets of interference. By the way, I have updated, and this one thing that I have updated is the what is it? The was it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah. So this label was wrong, Christmas sheer. I have updated the label, so it would say now crimson sheer. If you wanted to do that, that's all right, and then you can just die cut it and then just use that single label. You don't have to do all of the rest, but those will say there here. Now, what I have got here is the full collection of interferences. Now, this is the set number 1 of the first release of Interference by Lisa. Then this is the second one. And then we have got I haven't labeled it properly, but I have in mind, I have got lots of labels, right? You can see it here. So this one was the limited edition from last year, and then these ones are this one is the exclusive set from scrapbook.com. So if you wanted that one, you have to get it through scrapbook.com. And then we have got these individual ones that were released at some points, and you can get them directly from Lisa as well. So Night Sky and Mary's. I'm going to put them like that. I'm going to put those ones aside because being a special edition sort of thing, I know that some of you may not have had them yet or something like that, but these ones are much easily, they have been like more available, and of course they are available as well on hobbycraft.co, hobbycraft TV. See, I get sometimes like, yeah, I confused. Now, if you wanted to go to Hobbycraft TV, I'm gonna put it like this so you can see it there at the bottom. So you can see it, the hobbycraft.co.uk is /TV. That's the way that they kind of say. I'm gonna leave it there so just in case you want to rewatch as well. I know that the shows that I did yesterday, they are being showcased again and again. Right, so let's talk about colors and what we kind of like them. And as per usual, I'm going to bring in my ink school guide. Now, I haven't finished because I think it's a labor of love, and of course you just do it as and when I can. So we have got the interference. So those ones are the 2 releases. See, I'm missing the special colors here that we can see here, and those ones I'm going to fill them up as and when I can do it. Maybe today, maybe I can show them today. Maybe that would be good. Oh my goodness, this camera thing is a bit weird, isn't it? By the way, one of the things that I didn't know we could do is whenever I upgrade, let's say the guide, anybody who has purchased it already will get an email and say, here is the new version, you can download it for free. So I'm going to do like a massive compendium of everything that we have done so far of the the ink school. And if you had purchased before the guide, you automatically will be able to download everything, and then that way you know exactly that you have got everything then. But that's something for today and tomorrow to do. Anyway, so I'm going to put the colors now. When I put them like this, the camera, of course, with the plastic doesn't show them as well as I can see them in real life. But you can see that straight away that both of them, both selections, the release number 1 and release number 2, have got a really good palette. And when I say that, when people ask me which one to go for, I think either or it's great. Maybe I would go, maybe I say that release number 2 has more of, a variety in terms of you get gold, but then I couldn't choose one because I think they're both really equally good. If you like more pinks and purples, maybe go for release number 1. If you are more of a balanced person, that you like a little bit more of teals, I would go for that one. And I say balance because there is less, there is almost like every color is featured, including the charcoal gold, which is really, 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 really cool. You can see it here. It's just really, really fabulous. So what's the difference between, or what is about interference? So very simply, it's a water-based ink reactive ink that what it does is that, let me show you quickly with a piece of card and a black, just in case you wanted to see it. I'm gonna grab some super smooth and some black card, and I'm gonna go for the second set. I'm gonna work with the second release there, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna put them onto my card, and then I'm gonna go in with which one shall I go for? Oh, see, this is the thing. I cannot ask a presenter, can I? Because it's such a good way to with a presenter, because then we can ask them, and then they kind of go like, oh, that color, or I prefer this color or that color. This one I'm gonna go for Regal Ray. Ray is king in Spanish, and I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna just go in here, right? So automatically, when I kind of move it like this, you can see it a bit, that glorious kind of color coming through, and then it has like onto black. That's where the shine goes. So what we have here is that the Regal Gray. The gray is a dye, and that's the color that you see automatically onto white cards. And then you have got a coating of a different hue and different color coming through, right? And that different color hue is the pigment, the kind of interference. So this is a really, really gorgeous ink to work with, because the more that you play with it, the more that you bring in darker tones, the way that it changes. Hi, Pat. Of course, you have got Tracy as well joining us there as well. So the purple hue, that is the pigment that sits on top, it's the one that you kind of really only see it on darker card, because the dye gets absorbed by the black and you cannot really see it. So that is the difference with interference. Now metallic, the color that sits on the top and the color that is underneath, basically it will be the same one. So it will be pretty much, if it's gold on white, it will be gold on black. So that's the there are magical inks in there as well. Now, if you're wondering what do I do with things like this, I always keep them and then punch them out or die cut them. And then I have got elements in there that I can bring into my crafting, or just turn them around. Right, so what I'm going to do is I wanted to show you the color wheel, right? So to do a color wheel traditionally, as well as with the color wheel, the stencils that we have got from the ink school. So I take my Ultimate, and so it's one of those things that I use all the time. Now you might wonder what I have done here. And the reason is that I love the kind of positioning tool here. However, because you can see mine, I use them all the time. And more importantly, I was taking them to Hobbycraft and yesterday and things like that. And this was pulling off and then getting all dirty, because of course it was pulling out. So I kind of went like, if I cut this piece like this, then the tacky mat gets attached as well to the base. So that way it's slightly more practical for me. Obviously you end up with less area there, but it kind of works for me that like this. I'm not saying that it's something that you should all do at all. It's just something that I kind of like to do. So I don't know if you know that, of course, in the ink school, the stencils of the color wheel, you are getting basically one for the primaries, one for the secondaries, one for the tertiaries, and then you're getting the full color wheel plus 2 masks, which you can use in many different ways. And if you're wondering, oh, how many ways? Well, let me show you there is the color wheel guide, which is a free download. It's full color. I just don't have a working color printer. But you can see in here that tells you about the colors, the color combinations, how to create split complementaries and things like that. So lots of information there, and that is one of the free downloads, but that you can have access to it. Right. So you know what? You are very I always call you Becca because it's Rebecca. I don't know if it's correct to call you Becca. Like our lovely Rebecca has had a really brilliant idea, and it's just like doing interference color wheel and do it onto black and white. Now, what we are going to do, instead of doing the color wheel that is perfectly marked, so for instance this one, you can see that every color is like one of these dividers, right? What we are going to do is more something like this, which is we start with yellow, we go with a kind of a magenta, or we are going to go for a kind of a pinky, and then we are going to mix them up a little bit. So it's a little bit, this is a clean color wheel, this is a more crafty color wheel, which this set allows you to do it. And what I'm going to be doing actually, which is a little bit, it's absolutely inspired by Rebecca. I'm not one of these people that says something and then takes away the idea and doesn't recognize the other person. Is gonna be doing, take my tacky mat. Yes, I do have got 3 tacky mats, and I wouldn't be without them. I think it's one of the best tools ever. It's just phenomenal. So I have them I use them in different ways, but I'm gonna put this one here. Take that, so you can see it. I'm a little bit disorganized today. I'm gonna go again to the old hormonal story of, my goodness, the perimenopause is terrible, isn't it? My brain is not what it used to be. So I have it onto the magnetic mat, so that way I have my second mat one there. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna place my see, this is what I love about the magnetic mat. Has got the holes here, so I can place look at that, how well that works. There it is. Right now, that way I know it's exactly in the right place. So I'm going to place that here, and I'm going to go straight away with lemon candy. And I have been organized because I do like these the ink pad holders. They really work very, very well. Right, so I'm going to start with lemon on the very top, and then going in, and now you will see it, how it's going to be very, very, very different. Now, I am lucky. I do have 2 sets of these the stencils, so I could go in with the second set. However, because I know that most of you will have only 1 set of stencils, what I'll do is I'll use the primers to showcase how you can make it both at the same time. Yeah, I have to say my brain is all over the place, so I do apologize. And also my computer is all over the place. Apparently does not want to behave today either. Can you hear me all right? Now, what I'm doing here is mixing, and you will see the difference between having a clean color wheel. My goodness, my brain really isn't working good today, is it? Whether to have one that blends across the colors. So the next color I'm gonna go in is gonna be ripe mango. And when I go with the on the black, you're gonna see that it's the green that we see. That's the one. Because when we look at interference, this is the color that we see on white, and this is the color that we see dominant in black. This is the pearlescent side, this is the, flat color in there, right? Does it make sense? Then for this one, I need to find a chunky brush that is, see, the problem I have is that I sometimes, I'm very excited and I pick up inks and I don't realize that they are, the brushes, and then I'm like, oh, and then I contaminate ink brushes. But can you see how it's all is so much more different? Now I'm gonna take in, and I need to change my stencil. Place the next one up, right? And then go in with this color. So this way you are gonna see both types is slightly different, because what in onto black, it's just not gonna be the same thing. Right. Here I know straight away that this difference is a little bit too strong, right? It's too much of a big difference in color. So you could always put the lemon coming in a little bit more and mix it up, but don't worry, you don't have to. Now the next one up I'm going to put is the secondaries. So the secondaries, that one is going to be a more stronger orange. But remember, we are not really creating a specific color wheel. We are kind of just playing around a bit more. So I'm going to take this one. See, I don't have a space, do I? Let me put that like this. That is a bit better. That will work better. So, and then I'll tidy up after myself as a good girl. Oh, I drive myself insane. Golden Sun. Remember, we are using interference at number 2, but you could use any inks, and especially because sets of releases of 12, that will work. Is this inaccurate color wheel? No, this is just a color guide of the interferences. Right, so there we go. Now I'm going to put that one away. Look at that. Doesn't it look amazing? And then I'm going to do with Golden Sun going here. And again, I'm going to mix them up because I kind of like the idea as well of the interference kind of mixing them up. And you're thinking, that doesn't look very good. But it will look good. It will look good. It will be slightly different, right? And then I'm going to go in with Tropical Paradise. So then I need to go back to the tertiaries. Right. So any questions regarding the interferences, because the interference inks, because they are such a gorgeous inks that they're water-based, water reactive. You can use them in many different ways. So I'm using one of the smaller brushes. I prefer the chunky ones for the color wheels because it's really much better. There we go. So we have got the bit. Now I can go back again. One of the reasons I prefer the chunky ones is because you don't have to work them as much in terms of larger areas, but you can see it how I'm creating that coming together. And I'm not gonna do the whole color wheel. I'm just gonna do, because I just decided that it would take too long to do it, and I want to show you more techniques as well onto the interferences. But this is exactly to show that every color has got a slightly different as well coming through those metallics, those pigmented elements there. Right, and then we are going to go into Lavender Fields. Right, so there we go. Lavender Field. Now, of course, if you are somebody who are very acquainted with the color wheel, you will go like, but that's not right, Paula. The purple should be on this area. I know we are mostly just having a representation of the colors here. It's important sometimes to be aware of where things sit, but also it's very good to be creative sometimes, right? And I love that, how it's coming together. And then this one, I'm gonna go in here. And again, just blend it in as well a little bit, because then it's gonna be a bit different. See, I kind of change my mind all the time, right? And then I'm gonna go in with, oh, should I go regal gray? I'll go regal gray again. And that, for that one, I'm going again with the tertiaries. And this is why the PEX system as well, and the tachymat is such a convenient way, because you don't have to position, you just that carefully, you just can just go in, and it's just so easy to use it. So easy. Oh, I like that. That is working really, really nicely for me. Actually, one more. Sorry, you kind of think, and it's like, what is she saying? Well, one more is, you'll see it in a second, because what I'm going to be doing next is actually make a card. It's a similar card that I did yesterday on the show. Right, so I think that is, I'm happy with this, because this kind of cuts that way, you know, it's a perfect semicircle there. So this is, if you are clean, like we're using the step by step, you will get every section will be completely different, right? And when I look at it, you know, you can see here that there is that interference, slightly overshadowed by the bright lights. I just got very, very, very bright lights now in my studio, in my little studio. I'm going to put a little bit of water, because I like it to react a tiny bit with the water there. There we go. And then pick it up, just to create a bit of an effect. It's a mottle effect. It's just a little bit, you know, kind of, it says something a bit different, you know, well, not different, it's just a bit, you know, a bit of interest. Now, this one is, we should call it the Rebecca technique, because it's like, it was her idea, and I just love it. Look at that. Now, that to me is phenomenal. It's phenomenal because this and this, so basically like this, yeah, that and that is exactly done using the same inks. Isn't that just this amazing? So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to put the camera facing up, and you can see it, me here in my studio. I always put the hair back because I have got long hair, right? So what I'm going to do is put that aside. The best thing is that that's not dirty, right? And when I'm doing my platy green, pull out of there, uses it the platy green. You know what? I cannot see any comments now, or I cannot see if there have been any new comments. So I do apologize if there is any comments and I'm not. Oh, Lorraine has commented. Oh no, card. Yes, it will be very, very, very cool. Now what I'm doing is I'm grabbing my platy green. I have got all the plates in here. See, I need to find a way to have more space around it, because it's just really not good in terms of how little space. And by the way, if you hear a cling number, it's just literally I said everything, you know, like no sounds, no nothing. Still, this computer doesn't do much of that, of listening to what I need. So I'm taking the dies from the ink school color wheel, and it's a very useful large circle. I'm very scared that it will run. It's one of those ones, isn't it? That it's everything, everywhere. It's their things. Everything. If you want to do something, you have to move something, because if you cannot, you know, there is no space. I'm gonna put my platy green here, hoping that it will. See, I cannot even move it. Oh, I need to do something with this studio. I need to spend like 3 or 4 days tidying up and getting, rid of stuff. And I don't throw anything away, by the way. Never, ever, ever, ever. If I have to dispose of something, I always give it, like to somebody who I know they're going to be using it. Right. So let's put it, let's center it. And you can see that you have to see more or less the same edge all around it. So I'm going to go in with my low tack tape, which is buried underneath a million things in here. There we go. And then I'm going to place it onto my platy green, as I call it. I'm using new plates today. I decided I wanted to use new plates, so that's what I am doing. The problem with this room, when it's a smaller room, right, is that if you have got free space, any space whatsoever, I'm gonna put something on it. I'm absolutely gonna put something on top of it. Right, so you're thinking, oh, but what's this? Well, wait a second, because once that, what we are going to be doing is cutting that away. Right, so we are going to do that. And then we are going to do this one as well. So let's make sure. There we go. And now, see, typical me, I put something there and then something that I moved, then I cannot find it. I do that all the time. I actually think that I'm insane, but because I have driven myself insane. Not that I am insane. But there we go. There we go. There we go. Right, so that we have. And now what we are going to be doing is trimming it off. So again, I need to move everything in order to get to my trimmer. And this is no way to craft, I'm telling myself. I can't craft like this. I need to be organized. But I am organized. It's just like I don't have the space. It's like, anyway, I'm driving myself insane. Oh, total mess. I'm glad that I'm not the only one. So what I'm doing is I'm using that line here, right, to that line here to cut through. So hoping that that will give me a straight line, well, straight line for sure, but a good line there. There we go. And then, oh, I love this, right? When we put it like this, look at that. I kind of love this. Well, I kind of love it. No, I do love it. I just think it's just very, very, very different. Or we can do what I did yesterday on the show, which was to bring this die here and die cut halfway through the card in here. And then that will be the one that you can place it like so. Can you see it? Hi, Valerie. Well, I think you haven't missed that much because I am kind of withering all over it. It's just one of those days that I'm just like getting very excited about possibilities without really accomplishing much. So what do we have? So this is quite cool, isn't it? I kind of really like it onto black, that one. And this one, if we put it like this, right? If we glue it here, that is just really cool. Because suddenly it's very different, isn't it? It really is very different. The other thing you can always do with the color wheel, let's see if I can find it. I have got some free die cuts is to have, so if you have done it with the stencil and you want to like make it a little bit more clean, die cut it out of black art and place it over the top, and it will give you a really much cleaner look as well. The ideas I'm having are really, or you could do like this, put it there and then place it. See, I cannot decide. I really cannot decide because I think that looks pretty cool too. You know, this with a little bit of the white. See, this is why I can never make a card. It's just like it takes me forever. Look at that. It's just so there. And then I think I like this one best, but what we need is some vellum. I think vellum is one of the best ways, and I'm gonna grab not super thick vellum. I'm gonna go in for about, this is a bit too thin. I would go about 200 GSM vellum. So I'm just gonna go in with some. Right, so I have got here this one that feels thicker and this one that feels a little bit thin. Oh, Rebecca is saying, I'm rather encouraged by your frustration with your space. I have containers for everything, but not enough space for all the containers. That is exactly me. It's just like, yeah, not enough space, it's just never right. So what I'm going to do is, I know that this is an A2 American. I really favored those ones, so it's 4.25 by 5.5 inches. So I'm going to go in with 5 inches. Let me see, it has to hold it in there. So I'm going to go in with 5.25 inches, and then I'm going to fold it in half, right? And then on the short side is here, and then I'm going to go in to do 4. So that should be right. Yes, perfect. So basically, well, it's a little bit shorter there, but that's okay. That's not a biggie. There. So I'm going to cut it 5 inches. Yeah. So there it goes. I'm going to take it again. So I cut it to 5 and 4, right? So when I put it here, that has that kind of floatiness in there. So let me show you how it's gonna look. So then that is gonna be glued here. Now usually I always say put the glue onto the front of the card, on front of the insert. So when you open it in the inside. Here, what I'm going to be doing, now I don't ever recommend using wet glue with vellum parchment because it does not like wet adhesive, and it's the reality. However, I do know that this glue is very good. It's the high tag glue from Lisa Horton that I decant into the finals of bottles that you can find on the website as well. But also, this is a thicker vellum, which means that it doesn't wrinkle as much. And by the way, I know that some people say that parchment is, is the posher name for vellum or the posher product. But did you know that, in technically speaking, is the other way around? Vellum is a type of parchment that was done with originally. Now they are all, comes from plants or synthetics, but originally came from the skin from animals, right? Or for other parts of the animal, right? So vellum is it was one of the finer ones, not the finest. There was one of finest, but it was kind of almost the second finest. So, in technically speaking, actually, parchment is in itself should be less than than that. See, I cannot speak. I can't speak. The other day, I went to the doctor's for I hadn't been well. I had been like dizzy and stuff. I'm not anymore, and I couldn't. I had to ask for a blood test appointment, and I couldn't even think of the words for blood test. You know, so it's kind of that's. But see, kind of it's glued to there, and then so we can have that sort of opening there. I definitely think now that I have seen it that I like it with the black coming through it. I think it's more striking. It really creates something. So what I would do here to attach it is to go in and put the glue there. And just around the edges, again with fine nozzle, that helps. But I will always use the back of my hand to reduce the amount of glue there. See, at the end, I was going to do more about interference inks and techniques, but at the end I got distracted by the color wheel, and I will, that's what happens. Oh, now here there are two options. One, to trim it. Well, there's three actually. I just had an idea as well. Imagine that you put this. Oh, I just had another idea. Right, shall I do it? Shall I do something really trying to be clever? It might not be clever, but it might be clever. Okay. Right. Oh my goodness. Should I do this? Should I do this? No, actually. Oh, I don't know if I should do it. So basically what I'm thinking about is if I cut this, right? I trim it down and then I make a hole here, then this can rotate it as well. So it will be in. Shall I do it? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It might not work, but if it does work, it's going to be really brilliant. So I'm going to take one of the little dies that is for the center here. And what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to do that first. Right, so I'm going to do with a pencil or a marker pen. This pen is going to do like this, right? There we go. So I'm putting it there. Can you all see it? I don't think you can see it, right? That's the die that comes in the set of the color wheel. Just positioning there to make sure, right? That's going to be it. So yeah, I'm very frustrated today about the lack of space to put my, like you say, the containers. I don't have a space for the containers. I'm very organized. It's just not enough space. I'm not tidy. Right, so I'm going to take it into my plastic ring, run it through. Right, so that, right, okay. So what I need to do now, I'm going to do it with scissors. So it will not be as visible, but if I go like so, and then like that, okay, and then I go in like this. Don't worry if you don't do it properly, because you also have in this set this die, right? This die. So once you die cut it, you get something that resembles this, right? Let me see. There, that one. Right. So that will go like this, so you cannot really see it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue it here. Did I get to? Yeah, I did get to. So that's going to be making it stronger, right? And then I'm going to take one of the threads, as I call them, the brad with 3 legs, right? Okay. Then that goes in here. And now what I need is an isolator. An isolator, see, I do this, I die cut lots of things. An isolator is one of these ones. So I'm going to put the black one here. There we go. There we go. And then, see, this is what happens. I had more or less techniques to be done. And then I got super distracted. And now it's a completely different project. I hope you are like that as well, as, you know, like, oh my goodness. There we go. Right. So if you wanted to, you can always do what I'm going to do now is take another one, right, and put a little bit of glue around it, and that secures it even more, right, because that's going to make sure that it's kind of secure there, right. And then it's up to you really if you glue the, I'm going to put it, so I'm going to put the marker onto the orange here at the bottom. No, actually, I'll do it at the top. And the reason being is it just makes more sense, doesn't it? Just put a little bit of glue. Now it doesn't want to flow. One of those days. One of those days. I seem to have more of those days lately than non-days, like good days. Seems to be, it's one of those ones, isn't it? Brain sometimes does not want to cooperate. There we go. So what it is, can you see? Oh, I like this. Now, if you wanted to, you could remove the color wheel as well, but it has created a kind of element in here as well that is kind of magical. Now, you could have, if you wanted to, like say another one here, right? So let's say that we had another piece of card that went like this. Oh, shall I do it? I think I'm gonna do this. Sorry, I'm just having the time of my life here. I just gonna fully admit I shouldn't be. I had completely different demos prep. Well, not prep, but thought out. And now I'm just like, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be doing. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing this. Okay, so I'm gonna go in slightly. That is okay. So this one is one of the ones that I had done yesterday, and now I have got something that allows me to go in. Oh my goodness, I love this. And what I would recommend probably is to add one of the isolators at the bottom as well. But that is just something completely different, right? Now, I know that the demonstration probably hasn't been the best in terms of explaining, because this is how I create. I create very much like this. That is like I don't like I don't have an idea, or I have an idea but it then doesn't quite work. That's not necessarily what I do. See, this is the other thing. I could have used this other one half as well, so that would have been even more kind of the colors, right? The kind of maybe discovering even more. If you wanted to make it more consistent, I definitely would use the same half of the color palette. It could be mixed. You don't have to be precise either, but I hope that this is something a bit different. Sentiment wise, I'm gonna go again with some of the ink school, and they are free downloads. So remember, QR code on the screen that takes you to the section, and if you scroll down the bottom, that takes you to all the free ones and the to pay for. The sentiments are part of the free ones, so that's really you color my world or you brighten my day. I kind of think that there are sentiments that I chose that work with the whole thing of the ink school. You brighten my day, you color my world. I think that's a cool one, isn't it? Oh, now I'm thinking of, you could have done it in the way, like I could have, no, you could have it, but in the way that when this moves, then of course what you see is the brighter colors. So you kind of go in. I mean, there are so many ways of using it. It really is phenomenal. Now, here, one last thing. I have got like 4 minutes. Do you want if you want to the actual sentiment to move, you would have to glue it to a divider, but now we have glue it. And the reason is, so for instance, not a divider, one of these ones. If you want the sentiment to rotate, what you do is you put it while the bread is through it, and then you put, let me show you what I mean, because this is a really, really easy one to do. Right, so what you do is you die cut a circle out of foam, double-sided adhesive foam, right? I use them all the time. It's one of those products that I wouldn't be without it. Right, let me put that away. And then what you do is take another one. So let me show you exactly. So I die cut this one out of here, and then if you take that one out, right, so that's going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So I'm going to die cut it out. Right, so then this is a foam, right? So this one, then you can put it over here. Imagine that this rotates it. So what it will do, right, then that can spin with it. Do you know what I mean? You could even do it with one of these isolators, and then it can move together. Because I want the sentiment to be attached directly to the card, all I'm going to do is I always keep the leftovers. I always keep them because they're going to be exactly the same size, but it's going to be a bit stronger because this is printed onto paper, right? So that kind of gives it a little bit more stability. And in this case, actually, I'm going to use that foam that we have just created as well. So that way it doesn't interfere with the brand. So again, you can do it like this. And look at this. I really like this. I think it just allows it to be a bit more fun. Do you know what I mean? I love that. It's just like, or you could say you brighten my world, and then suddenly it goes all lighter. And of course, then you have got the card inside it with the vellum. Of course, that has shown a little bit. And what I would do here is die cut another semicircle there. Actually, I have got this one, the other one. Perfect. That's perfect. Right. And that's what I always do with vellum and acetate, is always glue something in the bag there. Right, and then you could go in, you color my world, and then you can have, you brighten my day, and then you can have this to write on, or you could have done that and to white, and you have got a really lovely card. This probably an A4, cut it into 5.5 inches, do like a fold there as well, that could work as well. That is just something a bit different, right? I hope you have liked it. Do make sure, Lisa might not be, probably won't be able to come back in time for Friday night. I think I'm taking the week off next week. But I think I am taking it. But then the following week, I will be on Hobbycraft TV as well. Uh, really hope that I was meant to do just Inca School with interference, but thanks to Rebecca again, massive thank you. I really love this idea. Now, I one thing that I wanted to say as well is this is a set that works really well for cards for men. So if you are thinking, I really struggle, think about doing something like this with the stars as well. But I think this is just fun for every. Thank you so much for joining me, and stay tuned, of course, crafting with Lisa Horton Crafts